cold, and Grandfather Two's suggestion seemed such an understanding gesture. "Go ahead and drink. I know you do when no one's watching. Go on." But I knew that I had never in fact had a drink of water like that. A tin cup was attached to the well by a chain. Grandfather Two scooped it full and handed it to me. There were many cups on chains later, by wells, by the hot water urns and rickety trains, by cisterns in Kazakhstan mines. The water in them either had a musty smell, or had been boiled a dozen times, or had a rusty aftertaste. A prison camp, shackled kind of mug, dented, scratched, wrapped in dirty adhesive tape, with an uneven bottom and edge shiny from many lips. But this was the first, most memorable mug. I didn't dare refuse and took a tiny sip. The icy water burned my lips the way metal does in winter, and Grandfather Two started telling me how in the north water can be so cold, even in summer, that it can stop a man's heart. It wasn't water anymore, but the embodiment of cold. I drank from the cup and Grandfather Two waited. Then he scooped up more and drank himself. After his mention of the icy water of the north, our relationship was firmly established. Strange, full of unspoken words, pauses and tensions. Grandfather Two had selected me to be a junior comrade, a confidant, knowing that I would understand very little of what would be revealed to me in hints, circumlocutions, and riddles. It was my inability to understand that must have tempted him to begin a conversation extended over time. Sometimes he would give me a sip from the mug, as if he was giving me communion, permitting me a sip of the past, which I could neither picture accurately nor fit into a bigger picture. Grandfather Two told me about polar nights, when people went mad and could be saved only by showing them a picture of a new, different face cut from a magazine, about mountains that were always hidden by thick clouds, where German planes had crashed during the war, about gnats and midges that could get past any mosquito net, crawling over your face and neck, seeking dead meat. It was all carefully selected to suit my age, distant parts, extraordinary events. But the more Grandfather Two told me, the more I felt that all these stories were just the edge of the envelope. Grandfather Two set out the hunting flags consistently and irreversibly, turning my perception in the right direction. He sketched the contours of an unknown continent, Atlantis, which would float up on his command, gradually preparing me to step on its soil. Occasionally he said nothing, stopped maintaining the image that he was presenting, and those were moments of stupefaction. His features did not change, but he stopped radiating familiarity and he appeared as a stranger. That happens when you're exhausted and look at someone you've known a long time, but you are completely drained, and the comprehension of the gaze ceases. Someone new and unknown appears before you. But in this case, my vision did not lose its clarity and strength, did not fail me. It was Grandfather Two's inner tension, which twisted him like a cramp, letting him loose, and you could see another old man who sat inside Grandfather Two. This could happen anywhere, on the platform between train cars, in line at the doctor's office, in the woods, at the pond. Grandfather Two, knowing that I could see, would suddenly start touching his face, fingering the lapel of his jacket, bending over to fix his shoelace, run his hand along the row of buttons, as if checking that everything was buttoned and covered. If strangers saw him, they would think it the necessary habit of a blind man. But I knew that in just a minute Grandfather Two would turn, stand so that I could not see him whole. He would be in a space between bodies, trees, or furniture, as if in a random photo, fleetingly, for a second, and I would not recognize him. Neither his clothes nor the location would help. He would be a stranger from a different era. He would be years behind, and then, covered by a chance passerby, he would return to my field of vision as his former self, as if he had changed outer shells, time-traveled, behind the screen of someone's body. From the outside, our connection looked like the friendship of an old man and a boy. Everyone thought so, explaining Grandfather Two's good feeling for me by his reserved complaints about being childless. This explanation obligated me even more. It was assumed that